Welcome to the University of the Ozarks Podcast. I'm your host, Nate, and I'm here today with current Ozarks student and member of the Clay Target team, Logan Wilson.
Yes, sir.
Well, hello, Logan. How are you today?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a little hot in the sweater, but I'm getting used to it.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. So, Logan, where are you from? What's your background?
I'm actually from a little town called Nashville, Arkansas. It's about 3.5 hours south of here. You wouldn't know it. We call it God's country because it takes God to find it.
Is it like it's the middle of nowhere? Like what? How big is this town?
It's a couple thousand people max. It's pretty small.
How many gas stations do you have in town?
4.
The fact that you know the number of gas stations means it's got it. Yeah, it's a very, very small place. So if you came from such a small town, why did you choose the University of the Ozarks?
So there was a multitude of reasons. The first reason, I was looking for a school within the state that offered shooting sports as a program, and this is one of like 3.
Okay.
2, this is the most wheelchair accessible campus I have ever found.
Okay.
Ever. And 3, they offered all of the academic tracks that I was looking for.
You mentioned wheelchair accessibility here at University of Ozarks. What are the aspects of that you've noticed is different about this university than others?
So this university, unlike several of the ones I toured before here, 9 out of 10 doors are powered with a handicap button. So, and it's flat, which you've probably noticed that coming up here. Most of it is flat.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the other campuses I toured were up and down, up around mountains and climbing up the side of what felt like rock cliffs. And so for me as a wheelchair user, that the accessibility was a major selling point. There's elevators to everywhere I need to be.
Mm-hmm.
I can get there, which can't say that for every school I've toured. So that was a major part.
So shooting sports, what are you in all of the shooting sports or just specifically clay target shooting?
We have clay target shooting, but within that clay target shooting, we have like multiple disciplines. We have like singles trap, doubles trap, skeet, double skeet, sporting clays, Olympic trap or bunker trap. And yeah.
Okay. So you use a lot of words that I'm not super familiar with.
Yeah.
Singles and doubles is referring to the amount of people on the team?
It's referring to the amount of clays thrown.
Okay.
It's 5 men to a team.
Okay. And then how does it work with the 5 men to a team? Each of them individually tries to get the highest score, and then together you have a score? Or
Yeah, basically.
Okay. And then what's the difference between singles and doubles? So 1 is shot or 2 is shot out of?
So in trap, you have the house that the clays are thrown out of. For singles, just 1 is thrown out in a variable pattern.
Mm-hmm.
For doubles, 2 are thrown out, but they're in a set pattern. You got to break both of them before they hit the ground.
Okay. How long have you been clay shooting?
Since about the seventh grade.
Okay. Who got you started in
My
clay
dad.
target? Your dad. Has your dad always been a clay target shooter?
No, actually. So to understand that, as a boy, I wanted to play sports. Young boy.
Yeah.
But there was not a whole lot of sports that people in wheelchairs can do. So we were at one of our home ranges / agricultural reserves, Rick Evans Grandview Prairie out there. And the headmaster over it at the time introduced my dad to the clay target program for high schoolers, and that's how I got into it.
So you mentioned that there are 3 different schools that you looked at for clay target shooting. What is it about the University of Ozarks that made it stand out from the others? Like the team composition, the coaching, the league you're in?
Well, okay, so one of them is a little bit more personal, the coach.
Okay.
Of all the schools I went to view, the coaches saw me, and the first thing they saw was the wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
And to some extent, they let that define their definition of me.
Yeah.
And there was one of them I talked to, you could tell he had basically dismissed me from the moment he saw me.
Mm.
My coach here, Lance, he saw the chair. Sure, you can't not. But he was willing to think, hey, we can work this out. This will still work.
Yeah.
And so that was probably one of my biggest selling points. Another thing is the team's rankings in the competitions. We walk away with a trophy every time.
Really?
Almost every time. I mean, right. We win.
Yeah.
We are I forget our exact number, but we are very high in the rankings nationally, even. And so that brought me the competitive side of me that really that was a real big attraction point to me.
What is the echelon that you are in? Is it like an NCAA? Like,
Yes.
okay. So
it's NCAA.
Okay, cool. And then how many people are on the team? You said 20, right?
I think we're right at 20.
Okay.
Maybe a little over, a little less.
And then what is the most attractive thing about this specific team outside of winning the tournaments? Like, is there really close camaraderie?
We're a very close-knit community within ourselves. We're all friends.
What competitions have you been a part of so far in clay target shooting?
Oh, several. So in high school, I was a member of the we went to the regional competition.
Mm-hmm.
We made it to state, which that's about as high as you can get for the high school side. And as well as several just local tournaments put on by local schools, churches, the Hope Evening Lions Club, stuff like that. And then when I came to college, we started participating nationally. And so I've been in several conferences, regional conferences. I've been to nationals.
To nationals. What is it like going to nationals?
It's a humbling experience, I'll tell you that. You can go up there, no matter how good you are, you will always, that's what I love about this sport, you'll always find someone who's better. You'll go up there, you may be running 96, 97 reliably, but there's this dude 2 fields down that's running 100, and his bad day looks like a 99. And so it's pretty humbling.
That's great. Have you ever had a 100 day?
I have not. I'm still working on that. My highest is a 97.
That's awesome. I think my highest is probably 62, more than likely. So a little over halfway.
That's good.
A little over halfway. So you mentioned that you wanted to participate in the 2028 Paralympic Games. What is the process to being a part of the 2028 Paralympic Games?
Okay, so step 1, which I've already completed, which I consider the national debut type thing. I went to Hillsdale, Michigan for a Paratrap Grand Prix there, where I came back with first, and that kind of put my name on the map.
Really?
After that, I've got to travel the nation and the world, participating in similar competitions, hopefully maintaining a top 3 finish more often than not, in order to continue to build up what they call Olympic points.
Okay.
And then at the end of the couple-year span towards the 28 Olympics, which is what I'm aiming for, they'll look at who has the most points in your division, and the top several people with the most points end up going to the games.
How many points do you have so far?
Honestly, I'm not positive. I haven't calculated them in a minute.
Okay.
I've been to that one event, like I said.
Yeah.
And so with a top 3 finish, I think you get 4 points for a top 3 finish. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah. What makes a great clay target shooter?
Dedication. A lot of people tell you, some people tell you it's the gun, it's the equipment they use, and I'm going to tell you right now, 98% success is 97% dedication, 2% perspiration, and 1% luck.
That's really cool. So, what would you say is the source of your dedication to being a clay target shooter?
So when I was younger, being in a wheelchair, I always felt like, whether they did it or not, I always felt like I was looked at different, which, I was to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of grew up like, I'm going to prove all the perceived haters wrong. I learned years later that it was not as severe as younger me thought it was, but I grew up hating to lose.
Yeah.
And so that carried over from my high school years into my college, and that's what I believe has led me to be a great shooter.
And then in your years that you've been here at the University of the Ozarks, what aspects of being here has helped you grow as an athlete?
Several things, actually, I could probably point to. First thing I'll point to is my coach. He's taken me from where I was at as a high school shooter, I was a good high school shot, sure. But he's taken that and melded it and added on to it and made me an even better shooter to what I am now. And the continued support of my family back home. They still show up to watch my competitions and all that.
That's awesome.
And so I believe those 2 things have been the greatest contributors.
When it comes to clay target shooting, what is it that you enjoy about it? What's the thing that keeps drawing you back that you love?
It's a time that when I'm out there on the field, I can shut everything else off. I can shut my brain off to a great extent. I can quit worrying about everything else that's happened in life, and it's just me, the gun, and the clay. And it provides a sense of stress relief in that sense. And that's what's brought me back to it time and time again.
What are the techniques that you've learned while here at the University of Ozarks that helped you hone in? Like, is it how to hold the gun better, or an aiming technique or anything like that?
Actually, a couple things. I did learn how to hold the gun better because in high school, the way I learned to hold it worked for singles,
Yeah.
But it didn't really work as well for the other disciplines. Another major thing I've learned is chair placement. So for most athletes, foot placement is key. It's what provides your structural support. Doesn't work for me because I'm in a wheelchair. So tuning the wheelchair where you have to point it is very specific to increase range of mobility.
That's super interesting. So are you someone who's learning from other people in a wheelchair who are in clay target shooting, or do you think you're going to be someone who is going to kind of write the rule book for that?
I would be honest with you, it's a combination.
Okay.
I have some people that I have watched and found and watched the way they did it, and I have learned and improved my technique there. But also to a great extent, I'm very, very different.
Mm-hmm.
And so in some sense, I write part of the rule book.
That's really cool. So you've traveled a lot as well. So what are some memorable travel experiences that you've had in the different competitions that you've done?
So the first one that comes to mind is probably my trip over the last summer, to Hillsdale, Michigan for the Paratrap World Cup or Grand Prix. I had a great time seeing Michigan, which is honestly a state I've never seen. Really wanted to see it. Never had a chance to until then. Got to see all the old buildings and stuff, and got to see what a Olympic level shooting range looks like. And so that was probably cool. Getting to see Hillsdale College as well.
Yeah. Now, we've talked a lot about clay target shooting, but you're also at University of Ozarks taking classes.
Yes.
And you have a double major.
Yes, sir.
In psychology and finance.
That's correct.
Why psychology and finance? They don't seem like they match up together.
I get that a lot. So when I was younger, I wanted to be a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
I was kind of always stuck with that until I moved to college and decided, you know what? Maybe the medicine aspect is not so much for me. I'm going to bump down into clinical psychologist, which is very similar but a little bit different. And so that's where the psychology degree came from. And also from a young age, I've always been interested with how money works and the way it interacts with the economy and all that. And so finance was just kind of picked up as a interest as opposed to not necessarily a dedicated career set for it. Although I will use it as my fallback option if clinical psych fails.
So you're going for clinical psych, but your fallback is finance.
Finance.
Microeconomics, macroeconomics. What specific area of finance are you interested in?
I want to be a broker, stockbroker.
Okay.
Or work in the stock market.
So then, are you very interested in the world of mental health?
Very.
What's gotten you interested in that?
So that once again goes back to my childhood. I've always enjoyed helping people find their way back, for lack of better words. Help them if they have some kind of mental thing they're struggling with. I like helping them talk through it and figure out, hey, this is what's going on. This is where you can go. These are your options, whatever. More just being there as a listener, silent supporter.
Yeah.
And so that some point down the road it clicked, hey, you know what? I can make a living out of this. And that's what I wanted to do.
That's awesome. So then while being here at the University of Ozarks, what are some cool things that you're adding to your toolkit of being able to help people from your classes possibly?
Okay, so one of my minor, to answer that, I'll have to go into my minors.
Okay.
So my main minor is religion.
Okay.
And I always believe that several mental health issues, if they can't be solved, they can at least be helped through the lens of how you view religion and how you view God and Jesus and everything else. And I believe that Christianity should act as kind of the filter that we view life through. And so I believe that in conjunction to, or in addition with psychology, kind of might help in the future.
So do you have multiple minors?
I have 2, yes.
So you're a double major and a double minor.
Yes, ma'am.
So a double.
Yes, sir.
Nice. What's your other minor?
Entrepreneurship.
Wow. So with everything together, are you planning on starting your own practice?
Mm-hmm. That's definitely on the table. I have really considered it, and if everything works out the way I want it to, yes.
Okay. And then when it comes to clay target shooting, is that a career that you can have after this, or would that continue to be more of like a hobby?
I do intend to keep it Clay Target as close to full time as I can get.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, when I have a job, the schedules will change, but keep it as close to full time. Still pursue the Olympics and participate in it as much as possible, and travel and compete across the globe and the country. That's still kind of my thing.
Yeah. So you've gotten a lot of support from your coach. What other kind of support have you gotten while here at University of the Ozarks?
So my advisors have always been really good with helping me find the classes I need to take to help me graduate with all 4 degrees when I need to. And then some personally, I've had several professors step up alongside me and provide great advice and point me in the right direction, both as a person and as a student.
What's the most recent class that you've had that you're like, oh, that's a really cool thing that I want to apply to what I'm doing now?
So the class is called Psychological Pathways.
Okay.
And it's more an overview on all the different careers you can take in psychology. And I would say a little bit in a roundabout way, my speech classes, the communications courses I've taken as electives, would have greatly helped in that area as well, teaching me how to speak in a way that's clear, understandable, concise, but still gets the complex messages across.
Yeah. So you have a free weekend. What are you going to do with that free weekend?
Probably going to go home, spend time with the family, with the girlfriend, see how all they've been doing the week I've been gone, and just chill.
Yeah. And how far away is home? How long is the drive?
3 hours and 15 minutes, 3 hours and 3.5 hours, depending on traffic.
Okay. What's your favorite thing to eat here in the cafeteria?
Well, now that varies because we have a rotating cafeteria. It's not the same every day.
Okay. So it changes every day, every week?
Once a day. Changes once a day.
Then what is your thing that you look forward to coming back into rotation?
Wing Wednesday.
Wing Wednesday.
Or Fish Friday.
Do you like it because of the alliteration or because of the food?
Because of the food. Those are 2 of my favorite foods. Now, the alliteration is appreciated, but they're 2 of my favorite foods.
All right. With wings, what is your favorite wing flavor then to have on your wings?
Probably barbecue. A little bit spicier barbecue. Not buffalo, but a little bit spicier barbecue.
Okay. Like a mild almost.
Yeah.
Okay. What's one thing that you wish you had known before starting college here?
That it's a blank slate.
Explain that.
So, all throughout your younger life, up until up until you go into college, you know the same people, relatively the same people, or the same kind of people, and you kind of fashion who you are around that and around who you want to become. When you come to college, unless a friend came with you, you don't know anybody.
Yeah.
And so you got to figure out how to adapt to new situations, meet new people from across the world, and interact with them while at the same time holding on to your core beliefs with who you are, while still you're going to change because you know new people.
Yeah.
So in some sense, it's, I guess, to amend my previous statement, it's a partially blank slate.
Yeah. Are you enjoying the person that you're able to create yourself into?
Yes, sir. Most days.
Most days. I like that. What's your favorite part of being here on campus?
Probably the sense of community that this campus creates. I don't know how they do it, but it's one of the best community-driven campuses I've ever seen. There's always something going on to go do if you want to go do it. Or if not, you can just go sit in your room with your television. There's always something for you to do.
So, like, what's your go-to coffee order at the coffee shop?
I'm a little bit weird. I just like straight black coffee.
Straight black coffee?
No creamer, no sugar, no milk.
Have you always been a black coffee person?
No. When I was younger, I used to have, like I said, I used to joke, I like to have a little coffee with my creamer. Then turned out I was allergic to milk, so I cut it out.
Okay.
And so that just led to straight coffee with sugar. The sweet, I didn't care for the sweet, so I just started leaving the sugar out and straight black coffee.
Straight black coffee. I can't do it. I have to have a little coffee with my creamer still. What is the name of your mascot here at College of the Ozarks?
He has a name. He has a name. It's just the eagle.
Just the eagle?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. If your whole college experience so far has a theme song, what would that song be?
Travis Tritt, I'm Gonna Be Somebody.
And why?
because that was partially what sparked me coming to college. Not the song, but the concept the songs brought up. Partially what I wanted coming to college was I was here to figure out who I was, here to figure out who I am, figure out what career I'm going to pursue and obtain that career and obtain some sense and obtain accomplishment, how I defined it. And so that song, talks about I'm going to be somebody someday. That's my plan.
Yeah. I mean, you seem well on your way with the competitions that you're notching under your belt. It's pretty impressive. If you could take any fun course outside of your major, what would it be?
There's a lot of options to choose from. There's a lot of them. I have found that I do take communications courses for fun. I don't know why. That's not something I ever thought I would like growing up.
Yeah.
But I've taken a couple of them now, and they've been pretty fun. But I guess a little bit on the wilder side, for lack of better words. There's a fishing class here, and I've always loved fishing. That's one of the greatest memories I have with my granddad was the summer springs on the lake, and so probably the fishing course.
The fishing course. That's really cool. If your phone loses all of its apps except one specific app, and you can pick what app it is.
Not including basic functions?
Not including basic functions. You only get one app to survive your college experience. What is that one app that you would need?
Instagram. I will tell you, sometimes Instagram is very addicting.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's calming in the same sense.
Yeah. Okay. So if you had to describe your college experience so far using only emojis, what emojis would you use?
Laughing, crying, and a sunrise.
Okay. Laughing, crying, and a sunrise. Why each of those?
Or in a sunset. So laughing, because there's always you can find something in life to laugh about. You can find something in life that brings you enjoyment or some kind of joy. There's always something. But the crying face, I guess, it's the mirror of that. There's always something in the world, to find that's depressing. But I do think you got to focus more on the realistic without too much of pessimism. And the sunrise and sunset, new beginnings, the closing of who you once were, and the dawn, the setting of who you once were, and the dawn of who you will become.
So if you were to give advice to someone who is about to start their college journey, what would you say?
It's vastly different. It's probably very different than what you're expecting, and that's both good and bad. Take the first year one day at a time. First semester, really. Take it one day at a time. Focus on yourself in a sense. Like, sure, socialize and all that, but at the end of the day, you're here for you. Figure out who you are, what you want to be, and just make sure you don't forget home. Make sure you don't forget who you were.
Yeah. And how has University of the Ozarks, the experience here, helped you kind of shape who you want to be?
So, part of that comes through the academic side. Part of it. We have the Lens program, which that's kind of, you have to take classes in certain three main pillars. I think we have humanities, fine arts, math, and there's one more, but it's gone. That taking all those classes from all those different facets of life kind of helps inspire you, or helps inspire me to be who I want to be. And the fact that it's far enough from home where I can feel like I'm on my own, but close enough to where I can still go back on the weekends if I want to, that allows me to stay grounded in some sense. Go back home, go back to where it all began, and then come back and face the new day.
My last question I have, this one is just for me. When clay shooting, and you like knock it out the park, you hit your 100, are you going to have a catchphrase for that day? Like something you're going to yell when you hit your 100?
Not planned.
Have you ever yelled anything after you've gotten like a particularly good time shooting clays?
Honestly, no. Usually on days I do really good, one of two things has happened. I'm either really tired so I can't overthink things, or I've switched my brain off so hard that I don't realize, like my first perfect score, 25 out of 25. I didn't realize I'd done it until I walked off the line.
Really?
I'd shut my brain off. It didn't occur to me what had happened. I just knew, hey, I'm out there, pop, pop, pop. That's it. Most of the time, I don't know. I don't have the desire to say anything. It feels more like a time to be silent.
Yeah, it's your Zen state.
Yeah.
I like that. Well, thank you so much, Logan. It's been nice talking to you.
Good talking to you.
Yeah, after this, I'm gonna show you some videos of me shooting, so you can critique how I grip the rifle, so you can let me know.
All right.
But yeah, thank you so much. It was nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you.